I'm Caitriona Perry in Washington, and this is BBC World News America. President Trump said he will 100% follow through on his threat to impose tariffs on European countries opposed to his effort to take over Greenland. America's allies say the move is completely wrong. Tensions are rising in the US state of Minnesota as protests continue against Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. Spain will observe 3 days of national mourning for the 40 people killed in a high-speed train crash. The Italian fashion designer Valentino has died at the age of 93. His creations were worn by the international elite, from Princess Diana to Elizabeth Taylor. Hello, you're very welcome to the programme. US President Donald Trump is making it clear to European leaders that he's serious about imposing tariffs on countries that oppose his bid to take over Greenland. In an interview with NBC News on Monday morning, President Trump refused to rule out military action to take control of Greenland and said that he would 100% follow through on his tariff threats. There will be 3 days of mourning in Spain after 40 people were killed in a collision between two high-speed trains in the south of the country. Dozens more people were injured in the crash on Sunday. It happened near the town of Ademuz when a train heading towards Madrid derailed about an hour after leaving the southern city of Malaga. It crossed over to the opposite track and hit another train coming in the other direction. Spain's Prime Minister visited the crash site and said there would be absolute transparency in finding the cause of the accident. Our correspondent James Waterhouse reports. The Kremlin says Russian President Vladimir Putin has been invited to join US President Donald Trump's so-called Board of Peace. That's this international body that is expected to temporarily oversee the running of Gaza while it is rebuilt. A spokesman for the Kremlin said that it is studying the details of the proposal. The Italian fashion designer Valentino Garavani has died at the age of 93. He was known for a style that displayed luxury, wealth, opulence and shoulder pads. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni paid tribute to the designer, describing him as the undisputed master of style and elegance. Charlotte Gallagher looks back at his life. Valentino Garavani there, who has died at the age of 93. Well, here in the US, thousands of people are gathering to honour the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. From Long Beach in California to right here in Washington, D.C. Lots of commemorations. That is all we have for you today here on World News America. I'm Caitriona Perry. Thanks for watching.
I'm Sumi Somaskanda in Washington, and this is BBC World News America. President Trump says he will 100% follow through on his threat to impose tariffs on European countries opposed to his effort to take over Greenland. America's allies say the move is completely wrong. Tensions are rising in the U.S. state of Minnesota as protests continue against Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. And Spain will observe 3 days of national mourning for the 40 people killed in a high-speed train crash. I'm Sumi Somaskanda. Welcome to the program. President Trump says he will act on threats to impose tariffs on European allies if a deal is not reached over Greenland. He also declined to rule out the use of military force. Those comments came after a text message he sent to the Prime Minister of Norway in which he suggested his stance on Greenland was influenced by not winning the Nobel Peace Prize. We're going to take a short break around the world and across the UK. This is BBC News. You're watching BBC News. The U.S. Justice Department is appealing a federal judge's order restricting how federal agents respond to protesters in the U.S. state of Minnesota. Valentino Garavani, who's died there at the age of 93. Still to come, we're going to be talking to Bill Nye, the science guy, about the upcoming Artemis mission. Stay with us.
Here
Here at BBC Verify, we use forensic investigative techniques and tools to fact-check stories, verify information and counter disinformation. Using data analysis and the latest technology, our journalists examine the evidence and get to the facts. Watch our BBC Verify reports on the BBC News channel or go online to find out more.
Welcome back to World News America. Back now to our top story and President Trump's threats to impose tariffs on allies who oppose his idea of the U.S. owning Greenland. Tonight, the White House says Trump is confident that Greenlanders would be better served if protected by the U.S. from modern threats in the Arctic region. Our diplomatic correspondent Paul Adams looks now at why Greenland is so strategically important. Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News. BBC News. The Kremlin says Russian President Vladimir Putin has been invited to join President Trump's so-called Board of Peace. That is the international body that is expected to temporarily oversee the running of Gaza while it is rebuilt. A spokesman for the Kremlin said that it is studying the details of the proposal. All right, just before we go, remember you can always get the very latest on our website, bbc.com/news. You can see there we have the very latest on the continuing escalation between the U.S. and European allies over Greenland. We have our correspondents with analysis from around the world on this story and many more. And don't forget, you can always get the latest headlines on our app and on our social media sites as well. I'm Sumi Somaskanda. For all of us here in Washington, thank you so much for watching BBC News, and do stay with us.
Hello there, good evening. It's been a rather mixed picture weather-wise today, with